Today the podcast is brought to you by Onnit. You guys go over to onnit.com. Check out what they got. Onnit stocks everything pretty much you need for working out, supplements. They got Alpha Brain, they've got ShroomTech Sport, New Mood, protein powder. They have kettlebells, maces, battle ropes. They even sell you food and coffee on there, so go check out onnit.com. We're also brought to you by Buds and Leaves. So if you guys go to budsandleaves.com and check out what I believe it's called their leaf menu. Manny will know what I'm talking about here. Check out the leaf menu. If you're not into that and you're into CBD, check out the Buddha stick. I love the Buddha stick. It's I go through one of these a week. So it's budsandleaves.com. We're just going to jump right into the fucking podcast today. I've had enough talking about sponsors. So today we've got my favorite, he doesn't like to be called a journalist, but he's a BOGO journalist. That's what he likes to be called. But he's my favorite guy on YouTube, my favorite guy on Facebook. If I'm looking for Canadian boxing news or worldwide boxing news, I'm searching out Manny Montreal, and that's who we got today.
How you doing, brother?
I'm fantastic, man. It's too hot though. But like I hate to wish for winter, but
that's the thing, right? It's never too hot because it could always be too cold.
Yeah, like, I don't. It gets pretty cold in Montreal, but like here it gets like minus 40, and then with 100-kilometer-an-hour wind, it's terrible.
Yeah, so I don't know why you would enjoy this. Go sit in a kiddie pool and drink a beer. You can't go do that in the winter. Well, you could, but it's no fun.
Yeah, no, that would not be a great idea. Let's jump right into some boxing news, Manny. I know that this is probably going to interest you, and especially the people in Quebec, where Simon Keane has his next assignment, and that's against Dylan Big Country Carmen.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I actually did a radio show in Massachusetts this week, and they were asking me, like, what was next for Simon Keane. And this was before they made the announcement. And I had said that, because they were talking heavyweight names that he doesn't necessarily belong next to just yet. You know what I mean? Because he's just stepped into the spotlight. And a lot of that came from the Bray Wood fight. But, I mean, he still has to defeat some other names out there. He would still need to get some experience, as weird as it sounds. I realize he has a few fights, but I find the Dylan Carmen fight's the right fight for him, right? Because other options would have meant an Andy Ruiz or Dupenhouse in France. The minute you start going across borders and you're dealing with other judges and stuff, you're kind of leaving things out of your hands a little bit. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, if he could build up his record with 2 or 3 more fights and then make some sort of cross-border fight against anyone internationally, it would make sense in my book. And Dylan Carmen, as far as the heavyweights go out here, right, we're talking boxing knowledge, and experience and in-ring experience. Dylan Carmen is at the top of the heap.
Yes.
As far as experience. Being in there, having Dylan Carmen's tasted victory and he's tasted defeat. So he knows what both feel like. He also knows what it's like to go into a fight and not really having trained hard. And then he also knows what it's like to go into a fight having given a really good camp.
Yeah.
So that being said, does he have what it takes to put away Simon Keane? Sure. He has the same stuff that Adam Braywood had. The same chances Adam Braywood had, Dylan Carmen has. There's no added advantage because Dylan Carmen's fought a few more times. Where the added advantage comes from is, should he get rocked, he's smart enough to take a knee, which part of me wished somebody would have talked to Adam about. Right? Because there's no, let's try and walk this off. that doesn't work sometimes. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to take the knee. There's no fucking shame in it. You take an 8 count, you get your fucking bearings back, and sometimes when you got 40 seconds left in a round, you can make something happen in the next round. And Dylan Carmen's got that kind of experience, that kind of craftiness that will lend itself to a more competitive fight, so to speak. But the overall outcome's the same. It's either Dylan Carmen goes to sleep or Carmen catches Simon Keane.
It's a definite option that Carmen could catch Simon. The interesting part of the fight for me is along with Adam Braidwood, him and Dylan have an opponent that's the same person in Eric Martel.
Yeah.
So this is going to be another retribution fight for Eric, where Simon immediately took after Adam when he beat Eric.
Yeah, so to speak, it is kind of like a revenge thing, but Martel's that guy too, you know what I mean? I mean, Martel's very similar to Dylan Carmen, and a lot of these guys make me wish they would have got into boxing a little younger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even with Adam, I mean, God knows where the world could be right now if Adam Braywood would have not been an Eskimo.
Right?
And you know what I mean? And he would have just been boxing this whole freaking time.
As a child, that's what he wanted to do, was box.
Ugh.
But there was no boxing gym where he lived, so he turned to football. And he went all the way with that. So Lord knows what would have happened if he had just been boxing since he was 6.
See, this is why a lot of people don't understand why I'm a fan of Adam Braywood, right? And most of it is his mindset.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I say things like I wish he would have picked up boxing earlier, because he's got the proper mindset, right? And I don't want to start talking about retirement for Adam Braywood or whatnot, but sometime in the future, right? We're talking maybe possibly 5 to 10 years from now. I think if he were to have a fighter or two under his wing, I think he would do right by them.
I think so, yeah.
So, I'm a fan of people's character more than anything else. You know what I mean? And Martel's got that same warrior spirit. So, that being said, I don't know if it's so much of a Keane cleaning up Martel's old messes as much as it is the natural progression of things. Because, I mean, the only other options, if you don't go internationally, the only other options were Madeline Mijas or Teslenko. Now, Teslenko's a small heavyweight. When I say that, I don't mean height-wise. I just mean overall weight and width. You know what I mean? Keane's a big boy, and that's why the Adam fight was interesting, because at least Adam, was a comparable size to Simon Keane. Simon Keane gets a lot done with his size advantage.
He's huge.
Even Dylan Carmen. Dylan Carmen's, he's got that friendly giant feel to him, right? And he's got these massive meat hooks and giant wrists and big, thick ankles, but he's more built like a basketball player.
Yeah.
Than say a fighter. You know what I mean? So, look, Mijas and Teslenko are too early on in their careers, and a loss to Keane would definitely nosedive things for them.
Yes.
So I don't see them being so interested in fighting Keane just about yet. You know what I mean?
I would love to see Mladen fight Simon at some point.
Is that how you say his name?
It's Mladen Miljas. That's how you say it.
Because I've been saying Madeline. Like just mashing together the M and the L. Say it again, bud?
Mladen Miljas.
Mladen. Okay.
We just call him Mel.
Yeah, all right. Well, point is, although I got big hopes for that kid, I wouldn't want him fighting Keane right now. A year and a half from now, should circumstances call for it, possibly. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's too early on right now.
Another interesting fight for Simon would be Frankie Rill.
Yeah. Older guy, and he needs to get things moving. I think should he win against Dylan Carmen, that's a perfect next fight. That, he's got the same kind of curb appeal as Dylan Carmen does.
Mm-hmm.
and you can make that fight in Ontario, and it would sell. You know what I mean? So you're not off on that.
Other than the news with Simon and Dylan, there's been a shitload of boxing going on.
Yes,
Like
we had 3 beautiful weekends of boxing, man.
a shitload. Like I finally watched that. The hell's that one that was on the Super Channel?
World Boxing Super Series.
Yeah, what a production that is.
Come on, dude.
Holy shit.
Come on. Like I really hope I'm the one that like pointed you towards it because I'm in love with World Boxing Super Series. I've proposed to them online. I've asked for them to adopt me. Uh, I in my love letter video, I basically tell them I'll clean toilets for them. I don't care. Just like put me on the team. I just want to be there. I want to see the Muhammad Ali hologram. There's a freaking hologram. You understand? There's a giant-sized, arena-sized hologram of Muhammad Ali that appears above the ring. We don't get necessarily to see it because it's a lighting trick that they do with the lights.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're there in person, it's like insane. Apparently,
Just production standpoint alone, it was amazing to watch on television, but the fights delivered.
well, here's the thing, right? When you do tournaments like that, it's real tough. You get guys that back out, guys that get hurt, guys that miss weight, fights get canceled, venues get switched up. It's always, when you're dealing with that many fights and you're trying to do it on a timeline and then trying to deliver on that timeline, it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the production value, I want to point out, I did my research on them, right? Other than the fact that the money that's invested in this company technically goes back to an unnamed Swiss bank account, um, the people that are in charge of the actual production, they handled the Vienna Opera and the Vienna Philharmonic.
Huh.
So these guys are used to putting on big, classical music productions for lighting and whatnot. It kind of makes it, if you look at them, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And as far as the team that put out all the media and the production and everything, they took over a bunch of people that used to work for FIFA, and they used to handle all the media and the press releases for FIFA and whatnot when the FIFA Cup was a big thing. So these guys came over, and I found they did a really good job of getting experts in different areas and then making them all come together under one tent.
Mm.
If you look at how the fights were picked, most of the money came from a guy named Richard Schaefer. Now, if you don't know who Richard Schaefer is, he's famous for basically setting up Golden Boy away from Bob Arum. And then later on, depending how you're looking at it, screwing over Golden Boy by taking 400 fighters over to Al Heyman and PBC.
Jeez.
Now, here's the other interesting part. He used to be the head of the North American Swiss bank. Right? So anyways, he was over there. He was part of the money and part of the decision making. The other two parts were Team Sutherland, which is a big European boxing promotion team. And who was the third? Oh, K2, fucking 360 Promotions, the guys that have handled the Klitschko's
Yeah.
and G and all of that. So there was, as far as boxing minds were concerned, there were some guys that have already proven that their main goal is a larger objective as opposed to a right now, let's get money quick kind of feeling you get from most dudes. There was a lot of planning that went down in this, even down to picking the fights and everything. The tournament's going to be coming to an end, not this weekend, next weekend. For 2018, and they're going to be starting up again. They already announced what 2019 looked like. Everybody needs to be watching this. I am praying they come to Canada for 2020.
How amazing would that be?
Frick. Sky Dome.
Anything.
Sky Dome.
Yeah.
Sky Dome, Big O here. They need, they'll put on a show worth it. You know what I mean? Like, people will come to this.
I was impressed because it was the cruiserweights that were showcased, and the cruiserweights don't get a lot of recognition in boxing. It's kind of one of those forgotten weight classes. But that gentleman that won, oh my God, Usyk?
Yeah, man. Well, look, here's the thing, right? When they put out the first press release for this tournament that they were going to try and do, their main objective was to highlight weight classes that are forgotten.
Oh.
So they purposely went after cruiserweights, knowing it's always historically it's an interesting weight class. A lot of some great heavyweights came from the cruiserweights. You know what I mean? So, you look at guys like a Holyfield and even a Bellew, if you look more recently, the cruiserweights are a very interesting weight class. It's just no one bothered to try and showcase it. So these guys went specifically targeted that weight class and then turned it on its head and showed everybody how exciting it could be. If you get a chance, go look at the YouTube channel. They got some really good documentary videos on the lead up and the aftermath and everything. They did such a good. Usyk doesn't speak English, okay?
Yeah.
A little bit of English, not a lot, but he's getting better. But the point is, the entire documentary is in subtitles, and you're enthralled. You completely fall in love with this guy. You're watching every freaking second of this documentary. They do such a good job of getting the story across, of getting who this person is across to the fan. It made it real easy for people to get on board. And they really did a fantastic job at that. They made Alexander Usyk go from an unknown to a household name.
Dude, that guy's awesome.
In 1 year in boxing. Plus, they put all the belts on him. Plus, they give him the first Muhammad Ali trophy. Plus, he goes home $50 million richer.
50 million?
That's the grand prize, homie.
Oh my God, that's a fucking shitload of money.
I need you to understand this. I think the first round, right? It's like if you lost, it was like 50 to 150K. Some guys, made less. Second round, guys were looking at like 250K to $1 million, depending on the name and if they had the belt, right? And then, once you got to the finals, the winner got 50 million, and I think the loser gets 10. So neither Gasayev, which was the opponent that lost the final, or Usyk, a year ago would have never found themselves, either one of them, in a situation where they could have made $500,000.
Yeah.
A year later, one guy's walking away with 10, the other guy's walking away with 50.
It's the seeing that gentleman draped in all those belts and then still kept all the belts on and went over and hoisted the Muhammad Ali trophy was an amazing sight.
Yeah.
4 belts. He's the undisputed champion. He's now surpassed Evander Holyfield.
In the history books.
Yeah.
In the history books. Went from going to no picture on BoxRec to having his own goddamn chapter in the history books of boxing.
Yeah.
Bless his heart.
And then calls out Tony Bellew. Amazing.
Bless him. Bless him. The way things are supposed to be fucking done. The way things are supposed to be fucking done. And I want to point out, Usyk has a fucking monster team, eh? Lomachenko's dad and Russ Amber.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. If that's like trying to be, like I can't even explain that. That's like, you're trying to build a rocket and somebody loaned you 2 guys from NASA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's as good as can get. Now, obviously, he's Ukrainian and they had history from being in the Olympic team and whatnot, so he already kind of knew the Lomachenko team. But it says a lot because, number one, obviously Lomachenko's father in recent years has been offered all kinds of opportunities to coach people.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's not just, Usyk's a countryman. I'm talking in his home country. People are throwing bags of money at him like, take my son, take my nephew, take this kid. I've been sponsoring this guy. Everybody that has a boxer that even had a way of reaching this man has reached him. You get what I'm trying to say?
Mm.
And I think he's coaching 3 guys.
That's it?
Including his son. That's right. He occasionally helps out with another guy, but like hands on. It's his fucking problem from A to Z. He doesn't want to take on too many dudes. So the fact that he took Usyk on, and early on, we're talking like at the beginning of this tournament, like Usyk went to him and he said, "Yeah, sure, I'll go with you." You know what I mean? Like there's not some sort of preconceived notion that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that this was going to be some sort of easy money or whatnot. You know what I mean? He legitimately saw something in Usyk in the past from their dealings in the past that he knew. You know what I mean? It was worth the effort. Not to say that everyone else isn't worth the effort, but the old man likes to be very selective.
Well, it paid off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Manny, September 7th, we have KO Boxing coming up in Edmonton, and the people of Edmonton are going to be treated to something special. We've got Arthur coming back over from Quebec, and we've got your 154-pound Kazakh coming over too.
Nurzat.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Arthur looks like he looks like a kid that could probably model stuff in a magazine or whatnot.
Yeah.
But when you see him box, when you see him outside the ring, you have an assumption that he's a tough dude, that he can handle himself, right? Nurzat looks like the guy that bags your groceries.
Yeah, he's a nerd.
And then he fights, and you're gonna pucker up your asshole because the kid's fucking violent. And I would even say to his own detriment, he is violent. Like I've seen him go after things where it's like, oh, I don't know, you know what I mean? He's a bit of a risk taker, Kazakhstani Arturo Gatti, if you will. You know what I mean? Like the kid's got no. He'll put his hand in the fire. He'll stick his whole face inside the lion's mouth. He don't care. He's there for one thing. On the outside, though, it looks like he should be working at GameStop. You know what I mean? So he's got the most. He's the most unassuming look, but guaranteed the biggest surprise of the night for you guys. I guarantee you, when that kid fights and the fight's over, if you look around to the people that had no idea who this kid was, they're all going to have the similar look on their faces.
I'm really excited to see both of them. I'm a fan of Arthur's. I like him. He's very polite. He's very pretty for a boxer. His face is going to get fucked up at some point. I'm just waiting for that to happen. But I've seen the Kazakh guy fight on a couple different occasions, like on the Keen Braidwood undercard, which was a good fight. But it's different when you see him live.
Mm.
So I'm excited for that. Archer's last fight in Quebec on the Keen Braidwood undercard wasn't as impressive as some of his other ones. He did show a chin, but he showed some weaknesses with his footwork too. He likes to switch his stance a lot, but he's not very fluent with it, and he gets caught.
You know what it is? As far as all the other kids that came along with Arthur, right? His amateur background isn't as deep as theirs.
Oh.
Okay? So it's deep, don't get me wrong, but it's not 300 fighters deep, you know what I mean? He didn't clear out a freaking public school. So when he came along, number one, number two, he's very young. Very, very young.
Is he 22?
Yeah, I think he just turned 22.
Yeah.
So, how can I put this? Sometimes boxers who have natural talent will rely on the natural talent more than the fundamentals and little things like practice and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The reason I keep going back to the whole amateur background is because some of these Kazakhs come over here and it's not, they're not here to have fun. They're not like excited to have a fight. It's lunch pail time. Punch the clock. Go in there. You know what I mean?
It's time to work.
Yeah, and you know what I mean? They got a different kind of mentality about it. A soldier-like mentality, right? And Arthur's Russian, not Kazakh. And like I said, his whole thing's been mostly based off the fact that he's just a naturally gifted athlete. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? The boxing kind of came in afterwards. So he just has to watch out for that. He just needs to learn not to rely on his confidence as much. You know what I mean? And maybe take a page from his Kazakh brothers, and just treat it as work, man. You got to put your nose to the grindstone, go in there and do your 120 things that you've planned on doing, and execute them.
So running back to Dylan Carmen again, I forgot to mention this earlier. I was on a Tyson Fury live feed today, and
Okay.
he invited in one of his friends to the live feed, and he called him the White Rhino. I
Yes.
I didn't catch his name, but he says that he wants Dylan Carmen next.
Well, okay. If you get a chance, go look into this kid. His last fight was kind of there was a bit of controversy around it, whereas he claimed if he lost, he was going to retire.
Oh,
Now, that didn't happen because he knocked the other dude clean out. Uh, he's listen, the Travelers, as we know, Tyson Fury is, I would say, king of.
yeah,
The Travelers are a unique bunch, and he comes from a very unique pedigree. Uh, he's a very going to Arthur a little bit. He's a natural talent as well.
yeah.
Uh, doesn't have a big background in boxing. He's a little raw. That being said, he's dangerous. Like I don't know if that was the right move for him. I think maybe he should have called out Simon Dean.
What's his name? Do you know his name?
I'm trying to. If I could go on Instagram right now, I can't. But
Just send it to me later. Fuck it.
I will, and you can like type it on the screen or something.
uh, other, I'd like. Listen, I love it when people call people out. That's my
Oh,
that's my favorite thing of all time because then it gets people talking and it creates a buzz, right? And to do that on a Tyson Fury live feed on Instagram isn't exactly the smallest platform of all time.
well, I'll say this. I happen to know that Tyson Fury has some Canadian connections, and more than likely there was some thought put behind that.
Yeah, he's not stupid.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a smart move, absolutely. And you know what? I want to bring something up as far as calling other fighters out. Congratulations, Tevin Farmer. Uh, Tevin Farmer technically was holding that belt. He got screwed over in a decision against Ogawa or Ogiwawa, or I forget the guy's name. It doesn't matter because the guy didn't really win the fucking belt, and proof of that is that he lost it immediately after and then disappeared,
Mm.
right? Nonetheless, that screwed over Tevin Farmer. It took a few years for Tevin Farmer to get back into the position to win this fucking fight, gets the belt, and all these years, this whole time, he's been trying to get back on top, right? As he's been getting clowned by a couple fighters and whatnot. The first minute they give him the mic, he's in Australia. I think it was 7 a.m. over here when he was fighting, right?
Yeah.
He didn't care, and it still made it to the internet, so, it's proof that it was a smart move. But he called out Gervonta right away, which was super important. Sign the check, put the money on the table, and let's get this shit done.
Love it.
Absolutely. There should be no fucking dilly-dallying, especially when it comes to two champions facing each other. If we can unify titles, we need to start doing it as fast and as much as humanly possible.
Yeah. One champion. Let's go.
It's a little tough considering all the sanctioning bodies are held by different millionaires, but
Yeah. Uh, while I was on the Tyson Fury live feed, I did get to ask him a question. And he basically told me to go fuck myself because I asked him about Shannon Briggs. He said he didn't. He called me a bitch, and which I thought was hilarious. Whatever. But I said he doesn't want to talk about Shannon Briggs. He's done with him.
yeah, well, I can't comment too much on it, right? But if here's the thing, if Tyson Fury, the people got to watch out. People got to watch out because if Tyson Fury doesn't give a fuck anymore, right? He's
Oh
gonna put
yeah.
everybody's cash out. And for example, let's just say, right, with all of the "Let's Go" chanting, right, with all of that, when the paperwork finally came and some bullshit came out on your side of things, you know what I mean? It's kind of it's disheartening. It's disappointing. I think if Tyson Fury wanted to spill the tea, so to speak, there's a few fighters we would lose respect for.
Probably.
I don't want to say what I know, but I do know something. So Tyson Fury is not entirely wrong for being angry at Shannon Briggs, because I'm a little disappointed in Shannon Briggs, because the truth is, right, you should go over there and fight him for a can of peaches if he offers it to you, right? Because
Yeah.
you're going to win, because you're the best, and because you've been waiting for your opportunity since you chased Klitschko into a lake.
So
Hey,
funny.
so it's years we're watching you chase after this opportunity. There isn't much you could tell me that would excuse you saying you don't want this fight or that you didn't sign the fight.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury could have offered you nothing. You should have taken the fight.
Yeah.
So that being said, I'm sorry he was mad at you, but you know,
He answered a few more of my other questions after that, but he was cool. He's one of those guys that he'll just call you a bitch just to call you a bitch because he thinks it's funny. Where I realistically think it's funny too with his fucking accent. It's hilarious.
well, here's the thing. I think if he knew you, he wouldn't have.
Probably not, no. But
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But you, he does get an absorbent amount of internet like
Oh yeah.
retardation. So it's kind of hard for these guys to deal with it all the fucking time.
I was
So
just happy he answered the question.
yeah, exactly. I mean, he's the king of kings. He can do whatever the fuck he wants anyway.
Well, one of my favorite guys got beat on the weekend. Kovalev, dethroned. Damn it. But Storm Alvarez is fantastic.
Listen, if you're watching this video right now and you have more than a one-bedroom apartment, okay? Before that fight, you technically had more than Eleider Alvarez does in this world. No car, okay? Goes clothes shopping like maybe once every 6 months. And when he does, he fills up a fucking barrel with clothes and then sends it back home as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think 90% of his money went back home. His kid's
Wow.
the only kid in their village that goes to private school. Okay?
What?
He pays extra for a bus to drive out an extra 3 kilometers to go get her. Now, hopefully, eventually, his kid and his wife can become Canadian citizens or at least come visit us here. Maybe get a taste of what life is like when you don't have to trek an hour and a half for school. Or at least, not through the jungle and through traffic. But the thing is, man, it couldn't have happened to a better guy. Canada should be proud of the type of champion this man is and the champion he will be. When I tell you he doesn't go out, he doesn't go out. His friends are boxers. His fun is training. His leisure time is training. His hangout time with his friends is training. The time he's supposed to be having sex with his woman, he's got his eyes closed at home. You feel me?
Yeah.
His whole life is a pretty solitary, shitty whole ordeal, and he sacrificed it all for this fucking moment. He's, technically speaking, this should have been Adonis Stevenson.
Yeah.
Adonis Stevenson's body should have been in that body bag. You understand what I'm saying? And he should be the WBC champ as we speak. That being said, he would have bodied Badu Jack.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is, I think he bodies most light heavyweights at the moment. 3 years from now, I don't know, right? Because it took Alvarez a little bit to get here. And I don't want to take anything away from him. I'm so crazy proud of him. You know, like I've sat down and eaten at the same table as this man.
Oh,
He's a very humble dude. A friend of ours is one of his sponsors, which is a bar owner. Okay. And like he can basically go there and eat for free, right?
yeah.
So I think at least one of his meals per day consists of coming from that kitchen. You get what I'm saying? So like I've had he's always there type thing. You know what I mean? So if ever you want to catch him and you're in Montreal, I can make it happen. But the point is, uh, I I want to point out that Kovalev did rock him.
Yes.
Okay, and before Kovalev got obliterated, he rocked him. And I think the sign that Kovalev should retire and the sign that Kovalev should not take this rematch and maybe should move on to other things is the fact that he didn't notice he rocked him.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
He didn't take advantage of that moment. The fight could have been very different from there on in. The judges were obviously going Kovalev's way, even though at the time I had given Alvarez at least 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah.
You know, and okay, well the judges didn't, you know what I mean? So it's a good thing that he knocked him down, but I think his killer instinct is gone. And proof of that is when Alvarez smelt the blood in the water, so to speak, you know, and it was over. There was nothing that could have saved Kovalev. After that first knockdown, it was written. You understand? There was nothing that could have changed the circumstances. Nothing Kovalev could have done. He couldn't have held on to him a little longer. The bell couldn't have saved him. He was fucked.
Yeah.
And part of that is because Alvarez knew to seize the moment. You know,
Agreed.
that has to do with his trainers and obviously years of waiting for this moment and whatnot. But Kovalev didn't seize the moment.
Agreed. Andre Berto also made his return to the ring. Did you watch that fight?
I did. I didn't want to bring it up too much because I was all happy that we didn't have any bullshit for a while, right?
Yeah.
I think I would have been happy with a draw
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, draw would have been a good decision.
because I'll run that back again. It was a good fight. It wasn't that it was a bad fight. Run that again. Those two guys are made to fight each other. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Uh, the decision. I mean, if here's the thing, right? Here's what's fucked up about this. I watched it a few times, right? If you only watch the back half, okay? Forget the first half, only watch the back half.
Mhm.
Andre Burke won that fight.
Oh, yeah. From 6 on, he
The
won.
decision can make sense. You're not questioning anything, right?
No.
But if you watch the first half of the fight and then you watch the decision, you're like, really? How'd that happen? Right? And then you watch the second half again and you're like, I'm not sure if that was enough.
It was really close. I thought Andre Berto's game plan was on point,
Absolutely.
but I think he should have started picking the tempo up 2 rounds earlier.
Agreed. I mean, both guys have a certain amount of wear and tear on them.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. I'm a little upset about that one. Hopefully they run it back anyway, based just on the fact that there was a little controversy. It wasn't obscene though. You know what I mean? Like I could
No.
swallow
Yeah.
because after I watched it a couple times, like I said, I felt like I could watch it again. Because I
Yeah.
wasn't entirely sure. You get what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, well maybe that's why I didn't make a big fuss out of it. Normally what will happen if there's a real disgusting decision and I'll watch it back and I come to the same conclusion like time after time after time after time, I get upset and then I get fighters blocking me on Facebook. You know what I mean?
Then you go to live feeds on Facebook and talking shit.
Never talk shit, man. I never talk shit. I only slug straight facts.
I know that we probably haven't talked since the Steve Claggett fight.
Yeah, I got to watch it.
What'd you think?
balls on that kid, man. Balls on that kid. Look, he deserves where he's at in the boxing world. You get what I'm saying? He deserves every fight he's ever gotten himself. Every opportunity that's ever come his way has come from what he shows in that fight.
Balls.
Like if I was trying to sell him to a promoter in the States, that's the fight I'd make them watch.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't watch it, he gets up off the canvas.
Yep.
A decent knockdown, not a knockout, right? But a decent knockdown. And it could be very discouraging, especially when it happens that early on, right? Mentally strong is the words I want to use. And that's part of the reason why he was given that decision over Eve Ulysses. Despite the fact that, in order to count a punch as a point, it needs to contact the opponent, right? Which is a whole nother subject that I could spend a half an hour on. He acted in that fight as if he was winning. His will, his mental fortitude in that fight was what got him all the way to the decision. And for his last fight, I mean, he won a title, and that's kind of the way you want to win a title. You know what I mean? Not in some sort of controversial decision.
Yeah.
You want some sort of clear, definitive exclamation point. And he did that. I mean, I'll be a little here. I'll give you some info. So I am part of a message group right now between some people at HBO, some people at Eye the Tiger, and a certain Eve Ulysses. And certain dates were discussed and opportunities. The reason I'm part of this conversation is because they had asked Eve Ulysses and their team to deliver them a list of fighters and reasons for facing these fighters. HBO is basically looking for an excuse. They need some sort of reason to put this on Boxing After Dark, because this is what we're aiming for. We want a little more notoriety, if you so to speak. So, they need some sort of story or reason or a name, Now, in their weight division, a lot of guys are going to be locked up into that World Boxing Super Series tournament, which is going down next year. So for the next year and a half, there's about 8 guys in the top 15 that are going to be frozen, so to speak. And the main titles are going to be mostly at play in this tournament.
Yeah.
Then if you exclude guys that are exclusive to Showtime and Al Heyman, the list gets shorter. Then, the list contained certain fighters that were like near the end or already out of the game, so to speak, but that had a name that we could maybe call back. Yep. A couple Mexican names in case they wanted us to go with a Latin flavor, in case this had to go to LA, which we now know it won't. I gave a couple Russian names, and the day that Claggett won his fight, after he won his fight, yours truly put his name down. Now, I want to point out his name was on that list before.
Okay.
I'm not going to say who put his name on that list, right? I don't need to inflate his head more. But his name was already on that list, and basically HBO was getting our correlated list, the names that we all had in common. And that fight made me put Claggett on Eve Ulysses' list for HBO. 2 main reasons why is A, the performance was something HBO can be enthusiastic about. B, the past history. And then C, the fact that now Claggett was coming with the title. Because prior to this, a rematch would have meant, Eve Ulysses putting something on the line and not so much Steve Claggett. So, for a lack of a better word, in a stay busy fight for Eve Ulysses, in order to possibly attract pay-per-view or even TV, Claggett actually, somehow worked his way back into my heart.
I'd love
I
to
had
see the rematch.
like, nope, we're never ever gonna face him. I had video of me saying I want him to never face him.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, no, because I was upset. Like, I don't think he ever deserves a rematch. Because the only person that gets something from a rematch with Eve Ulysses is Claggett. He gets to
Yeah.
shut people up, possibly. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? The other way around, I mean, Ulysses is already on HBO. Ulysses is already ranked in 3, 4 belt divisions in his weight category. He's top 10 in a few places. So, for lack of a better word, he doesn't need Steve Claggett.
Yeah.
You know, but now the situation or the pot has been stirred properly, so to speak, and I think it's just about right to be served. So it wouldn't be out of the question should before the end of the year we get a massive fight for Steve Claggett.
It'd be amazing because I've never seen a boring Steve Claggett fight. Never.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. Like I said, it's a mental fortitude thing.
He's got the hardest head on the planet, and he doesn't stop going forward. And Ulysses is a fantastic boxer. He can do anything. You want him to go backwards, go forwards, go sideways, it doesn't matter. They, uh, on paper, it's a real good fight. Who wins? We got to find out.
Well, we all know what I
It could be fun lead up to the fight because I'm with Steve all the
think.
way.
Yeah,
We're
what's wrong with
friends.
that? You want to get the West? That's cool. I get it. And if you're gonna root for a kid, he's not a bad guy to root for. You know what I mean? Like, if it wasn't for Eve Ulysses, I'd be rooting for Claggett.
Yeah.
Canadian boy, had some fucking shitty calls, uh, has climbed up to close to reaching to the fucking pinnacle of the sport. You know what I mean? He's just missing that one opportunity to shine properly. But that being said, it's against Eve Ulysses, so.
Let's talk about you for a couple minutes, Manny. You shaved. I was a little disappointed that it was all gone. It's coming
Yeah,
back now.
yeah. I mean, this is like 2 weeks growth, so I had screen tests to do, and they had requested that I try clean shaven. There's
Oh,
plenty of me with a beard,
yeah.
and the truth is, I can grow it back. They talked to me about cutting my hair. I told them to fuck off with that one. But I mean, it was summer. It was hot.
It was big too.
Not gonna do a screen test because I have a beard. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
even I'm still not entirely sure anything will come from it. You know what I mean? I'm still waiting on some bullshit news from all this. But uh, having done it, I don't look bad on. I'm not looking back on it like it was a bad thing. Like, it's good for my overall experience. If I ever get called to one again, I know what to expect. You get what I'm saying?
Can you say what it was for?
Yeah. A possible TV show.
Like a Manny Montreal boxing TV show?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, well, it's a question of A, if they like the test footage, uh, B, if they find I communicate well and whatnot, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah, yeah.
it's a little, I gotta watch my swearing and
Is it on
uh,
TVA Sports? Is that like where something like that?
oh, no, no, no,
Okay.
they still gotta shop it around. Basically, it's
Oh,
Viditron. Viditron would own TV show rights,
yeah.
and they're trying to shop it around to where they could put it on. Now, the other thing that comes with that is if they don't end up shopping it around, they can still offer me an online kind of format,
Okay.
which I'm fine with, right? I mean, look, the bottom line is this: if I could get paid to talk about this shit, I'm happy, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see, man. What was good from that is that I got to meet, I'd say, 10 or 15 other people,
Okay.
right? And we got to shake hands and communicate about other things. I got a couple boxers going up on the radio here from that meet. You know what I mean? So like, even if it doesn't turn into something, I was able to gain some stuff from it. So
It's good
that's it.
experience.
Yeah, exactly.
The experience is
I,
fantastic. So, well, I was disappointed that you shaved it all off because, like, I keep some at all times. Like, if I go completely, I look like a 12-year-old schoolboy. That's not happening. But you grow it back so fucking fast that I can't even be mad at you right now.
well, look, I mean, it's not very long. It's just, yeah. I'll tell you this. I miss stroking it. I miss thinking with it. Like I would think and just play with it. So I do miss that whole aspect. I feel like I'm missing a part of my face.
Right?
But yeah, but I mean, if I don't look like a homeless person and it gets me a job, then cool. I mean, at the same time, I took the opportunity and I went on a resume run and I went and applied at a bunch of places because I need work. And I know hobo-looking Manny maybe wouldn't have gotten the same reaction. So it was good that I did that. That being said, should things work out and I get an interview for something, I might have to go clean again. But
Shit.
yeah, hopefully fucking things change. I get a little bit of money put together and I can start growing it back for Christmas. I ideally I would have it back at full force by Christmas.
So, how is everything going then with your YouTube channel and doing all your stuff? Is there something starting to generate from that or no?
I mean, it's always I get people to talk to me about stuff. I write proposals. I get really fed up of writing proposals.
Mm.
I must have like 20 different things. I have 20 different irons in the fire. People come to me with ideas or ask me for stuff. I'm editing pictures as we speak for a
Jeez.
local gym that asked me to come by. The truth is, I make my money off of local gyms and young boxers that ask me to, like, can you come by the gym, take some pictures, or hang out, or come watch me work, or can we do an interview, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These guys didn't contribute to my Patreon. I wouldn't necessarily make anything significant. That being said, I mean, like I got this radio gig possible. I got this TV show thing possible. My YouTube just got another 2 strikes on it, so I got to be very careful. I got to watch some sort of video course that they got me doing now.
What'd you do? Cuss?
No, no, you can cuss all you want on YouTube, but especially I don't even have my stuff set up to be monetized. That way they can't fuck with me entirely.
Oh.
PS, little something, right? A lot of people are like monetize right away because like they're hoping they're gonna like get some money. The truth is, in order for you to get some money, you got to get some fucking crazy amount of views.
Yeah,
So
over 100,000.
there's no point in fully monetizing your account,
Mm.
and that's technically what saved me. Basically, what happened is I had the highlights from the Kovalev knockdown put up on my YouTube. It got like 14,000 views in the first day, and then sure enough,
Gone.
yeah,
Fuckers. I hate that.
it is what it is, man. I mean, HBO is obviously having such a great time with boxing. They don't need any help promoting.
None at all. It's the same thing as the UFC taking down Robin Black's Instagram page because he was doing his 1 minute breakdown and using 10 seconds of their clips.
Yeah. Well, look, the bottom line is this: they don't own him,
Yeah.
right? Can't tell him no
Yeah.
or don't talk about this subject. Therefore, he's a problem. It's like Ariel Alani. Like he's laughing at them now, laughing at them.
He's got his own fucking show on ESPN.
Yeah, but better than that, ESPN just bought the UFC from the Fox, right? So Fox isn't going to be showing the UFC anymore.
I remember.
Here they are. They get him fired from Fox. They kick him out. You're not allowed at the press conferences anymore. The guy's crying online, and I understand that because trust me, I I think I would be in the same, having given everything that he gave, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And now for everything to come full circle where they're coming onto the network where he's working. You know what I mean? Like, fuck you.
With Chael Sonnen.
With Chael Sonnen on top of that, even better. Even better.
So funny.
Listen, man, I think a lot of people are worried by the nature of business today. It's not just boxing. Instagram has flipped shit on people's heads. People do not understand the market today. They don't understand how things work. And people are clutching at straws. They're holding on to things thinking that their way is going to fix everything.
Yeah.
The truth is, the UFC was at its best when everybody was talking about it. When people are talking about you online, it's a good thing. Let them take your footage. Let
Yeah.
them share it. Turn it into memes. Throw rockets into there. Clip art Shrek face onto Matt Mitrione. Whatever. The bottom line is this: the more they use your stuff, it's your stuff. It comes down to it. Everyone knows it's your stuff. No one's thinking Robin Black now owns a UFC promotion. Put on a show. Hired 2 fighters. Then filmed for 1 minute so he could talk over it. You get what I'm trying to say? No one thinks he owns the UFC. No one thinks he works for the UFC. They understand what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah.
But the UFC sees it as some sort of infringement on their rights. And the truth is, what people got to fucking realize, exactly like what we're doing right now, none of what I am doing right now is mine anymore. Everything I've said is not mine. It's not yours. It's theirs. It's out there.
Yeah.
People can do whatever fuck they want with it. If somebody wants to take your Joe Schmo nobody, if somebody goes and downloads this video and then edits it the way they want and puts up all kinds of fucking stupidities, you gotta go and jump through a whole bunch of hoops to get it taken down and prove that it's yours and it's defamation and all that, right?
Yeah.
They don't even bother with that shit. They don't even bother looking at what's the person saying. All they know is, that's our logo, take it down.
Exactly.
That's where the problem resides. And the truth is, part of me would tell you, hey, bud, you know that guy that turned us into a meme and is laughing at us? Don't complain about it.
Yeah, no.
Let YouTube fucking run it. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
On the low, I would tell you to do that. And like publicly, we would bitch about it and like, fuck YouTube and fuck this guy. He's making fun of us. But on the low, I'd be happy.
Yeah, I'd be like secretly sending that guy messages. Keep doing it.
Yeah, because this is the world we're living in today. People don't understand.
They have no idea. Like, look at Adam Braidwood is a perfect example of with the Simon Keane fight. Go back to a year's worth of memes and bullshit on the internet. If that didn't happen, we'd be still 2 years waiting for this fight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Truth is, that would have been actually more fun, though.
Maybe.
2 years of flying Adam out to Montreal to show up at weigh-ins. You know, we could have very easily have turned Adam into the Shannon Briggs of Canada.
Shannon the King. He could still do it.
Yeah. I mean, look, here's the thing, right? I think that the script is going to call for something a little different for a little while. He could always go back to his roots of Mr. T-ing people at press conferences. But, look, man, the president of the United States is the president of the United States, and part of it is because most of the people are in shock of what he says.
Yeah.
Forget if you're on one side or the other. He shocked you.
Yep.
Okay?
I love Donald Trump.
I don't. Well, no. You want my opinion?
Yeah.
Every politician is a scumbag piece of shit. So, you know, on that level, to me, he's no different than Trudeau. So,
I would 100% group them into the same category with each other, except Donald Trump is entertaining as fuck.
well, depends what. I mean, Trudeau can be entertaining.
Well, if he's getting punched in the face in a kickboxing fight, I'd love to see that again.
No, look, the bottom line is this, right? They live in a bullshit world.
Yeah.
And what this Trudeau did that the previous Trudeau didn't do, right, was grab the world by its balls and then talk softly into its ear, right? Uh, Trudeau's dad. I wasn't around when he was fucking prime minister and shit, right? But like, I kind of like that dude.
Pierre? Yeah, he's dope.
Yeah, fuck you. You get what I'm saying? And that's fucking respect.
Yeah.
This this is what people don't understand. This is the only reason Trump got anything done is because uh, he's not a good-looking black man, and Hollywood is not behind him. So the way for him to get this done and to get your attention is by screaming shit and coming up with retarded sayings and saying half truths and going back on stuff and doubling down on stupid shit you said. Listen, I'm waiting for the day that comes out that he wants to talk about the world being flat. That's going to be awesome. I think every fucking Looney Tune person out there is just going to have a field day.
He'll get voted in for a second term 100%.
Listen, this is what people don't understand. They're like, "Oh, he's gonna get kicked out or impeached or whatever." I'm like, listen, if I was part of his cabinet, I'd tell him to double down and to do even more crazy shit.
Yeah.
People don't understand, man. It's a fucking show, right? To a certain extent, it's a fucking show. You only got a finite amount of time to get people's attention.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not gonna be real, then be bold.
Whatever works for you, I guess.
Listen, if you can't be real, be bold. That's the fucking motto. I feel I try and be real. I feel like if you were to stop me at a bus stop and we were to start having a boxing conversation, this is pretty much how the fuck it would go.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I think that's what people like about what I do.
Yeah.
Right? There's a previous way of doing things where guys are polished and talk directly into the camera with eloquent words, and they quote stuff that are maybe out of the reach of most people, so they can still seem a little more intelligent. There's a certain delivery, so to speak, that we got used to that in reality it doesn't work for fucking people anymore.
Newsflash, this isn't CNN, bitch.
Well, yeah, exactly. We're not trying to find out, It's like we want to hear your opinion if you can back up your opinion or if you actually believe your opinion. And like I'll give you an example. If you look at the HBO guys, I think Max Kellerman's the only one there that I kind of believe what he's saying is what he believes. Everyone else is a little more TV and polished, and they're like, well, you can't really say that, and they'll play in that gray area, you know what I mean? Whereas in Max, on certain things, at least take a black or white fucking stance on things, right? On things he believes anyway. But even him, he plays to that because he's got no choice because that's the system he was brought up on. If you go look at Showtime, they're playing things a little looser. Now, I think Brendan Schaub's a moron. And I want somebody to talk to him about the way he crosses his legs.
Yes, it is fucking pants.
Listen, man, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. There's a touch of something on you. There's nothing wrong with it, right? Boy George was cool. I liked Prince, right? No one ever said anything about Prince, right? But everyone knows there's a little something, right? Yeah. Tutti frutti.
A little flamboyant.
So, yeah, exactly. And Brendan Schaub's got that. That's fine, right? That's why he comes across and people like him because he says what the fuck he's thinking and the rest of the stuff I'm not crazy about, but at least he fucking does that. Then you got Paulie, right? Paulie's gonna fucking tell you what the fuck he thinks.
Yep.
Beautiful, right? And it's not gonna be all pretty and makeup and symmetrical. He's gonna say stuff. It's gonna be a square peg in a round hole, but he's still gonna fucking say it,
Yep.
right? I think for me, that's working better, and that's why I think what you do, what I do, overall, despite the fact that we're not Canadian media darlings, so to speak,
Yeah.
the tides are changing, and I
At,
personally think 4 or 5 years from now, they're gonna be gone.
at least it's real though. Like, where I'm not on here telling you fucking such and such is the next thing coming when he's not. Or like, the thing that bothers me about the HBO guys is, yeah, they are fake a lot, but there's some points during that show Roy Jones Jr.'s had enough.
Yes.
And he gets street lingo on them every once in a while with the "you know what I'm saying" and "you feel me."
Yeah.
That I think is hilarious. With
Well,
the Showtime
it
guys are killing them in commentary right now.
it breaks it up a little bit, but if you notice, they put fucking Roy right back into his place as quick as they can. And they'll giggle about what he's saying. Well, I don't know about that, Roy. Fuck you.
Yeah. Do you have any
The only,
idea what Roy Jones Jr. would do to you if he was pissed?
yeah. Look, here's the thing, right? Uh, HBO is doing themselves no favor by catering to my dad. My dad doesn't go online, doesn't have a Facebook account, and he doesn't remember your name. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
He knows Howard Cosell, sure,
Mm-hmm.
right? And him, you're just imitating Howard Cosell anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think HBO. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do with boxing. Uh, they cut back their budget on boxing shows, and then they made a bid on this Fox UFC deal that ESPN ended up winning out on. But, they cut back on boxing so that they could fucking try and make a bid for the UFC. I mean, how fucking retarded is that?
It's the dumbest thing of all time.
You're doing a shit job at promoting boxing. You think you're going to do a better job with fucking UFC. If I was the UFC and I heard you were interested, I would triple the price.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Agreed.
A subscription-based channel. Oh my, what a new concept. They used to be the only ones with that concept, right? But now everyone does it.
Yeah.
You understand? I can watch Showtime even when I'm here in Quebec now. Because I'll give you a perfect example. That Kovalev fight was $70.
What?
Yep, you got it for free, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
$70.
that's right.
Would
Because
not pay that.
I speak English, therefore I'm a piece of shit. $70 with French commentary. One guy, literally, I swear to fucking God, I'm convinced there's a nail lodged in his fucking brain. There's something wrong with him. He says the most inaccurate, racist, stupid old man comments, and they still have this guy fucking commentating on boxing. Then the other guy's just fucking happy to be there, happy to have gotten to fucking watch the fight for free, so he's just Mr. fucking yippee, happy little fucking dog. And he doesn't fucking step on the old guy's feet. It's the fucking worst boxing commentary. I'm forced to watch it in French. I have to pay $70 to watch it.
Fuck.
If you have the subscription you pay for Showtime and you have it online on your computer, well, guess what? Or HBO in that case.
Yeah, you're good.
You're good.
Yep.
But
All right.
everyone else, including my friends who are French people here that enjoy boxing, that wanted to enjoy that fight, had to shell out fucking $70.
It's fucking rude. That's what that is.
They don't understand. It's like I wish I feel like I think I'm gonna fucking divulge the secret to them. I think I'm gonna tweet them after we get off this conversation. I'm gonna tweet them. I'm gonna let them know. There are internet streaming websites.
Yeah, though they do exist.
Hey, people are sharing stuff on these platforms. It's wild. Wait till HBO hears about this. Like, are they fucking retarded?
I didn't say it.
my my point is this, right? You're fighting a battle that you're losing. You're not gonna win. There's nothing wrong with fucking changing everything up and going with the flow of things. That's called survival. And I personally feel HBO is just not gonna fucking cut it, man. And you know, if you look at if you watch that fucking fight, man, they are so up Kovalev's ass. They're talking about the fucking eventual showdown between Bivol and Kovalev. They even mentioned December 8th as a date. Okay? When Kovalev got knocked down, if you watch it again, you can feel their hearts sink.
Mm.
HBO took it in the teeth. Here's the thing. Technically speaking, Alvarez is still associated to Showtime. If he wants to, he can tell them to go fuck themselves with their December 8th date and go appear on Showtime next and never do another HBO show again.
Fuck.
What they're left with is Bivol. That's what they got. Bivol. And the other thing that they do have is they're going to do the Superfly tournament again. That's coming up soon. But that's K2 360 Promotions anyway. That's technically not really HBO. It's just HBO's providing it. And seeing as how he's a major contributor to the World Boxing Super Series, I wouldn't be surprised if the 4th World Superfly tournament would actually end up being a World Boxing Super Series tournament. You get what I'm saying? They don't have any fighters. They're not holding any ground on any promotions. HBO is on fucking thin ice right now.
Well, Manny, on that note, we're going to wrap this fucking thing up. Where can the people find you? I know it's Manny Montreal everywhere.
Correct. Manny MPL also, that's another way you can look me up. Patreon, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If it's a platform other than Snapchat, I'm on it. Snapchat is for cam girls. Look, if you want to contribute, I actually just got word that my room is going to be paid for should Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder face each other.
Boom. That's news.
So, that being said, I am going to need a little help to pay for expenses and whatever else. You know, there's a few trips I would like to do, man. I'm a little upset I didn't go to Atlantic City. In the end, I had everything paid for Atlantic City, but I wasn't covering the rent. And I kind of have a hard time because my landlord knows what I do. So, and he watches my show.
Yeah.
So, if I would have told him, yeah, just give me a week or two with the rent, he would have been sure, no problem. But then if I would have popped up in Atlantic City cheering and shit, I think he would have had a problem with it.
Huh.
So I had to postpone that. But I was real thankful for the people that offered to pay for the trip and whatnot. But sometimes it's not so much about the trip, you know. I get my ringside seats on my own. I get my hotel rooms on my own. You know, it's more about covering the day-to-day to make sure I can stay here and be here.
Well, all right. Well, you guys can all find me on Instagram at Bad Guy Boxing or at The Final Shot Podcast on Twitter. I don't even know what that one is. I think it's The Final Shot Podcast on Twitter. Facebook is The Final Shot Podcast, or my personal one, Tanner Wilshaw. Manny, don't hang up quite yet. I got some news to divulge with you that I can't say on the air, but we will talk about it. Guys, the podcast today was brought to you by Smile Spray. Go over on Instagram to Smile V Liquid and check them out. It's a CBD spray. It's in one of those cool fucking squirt things for your mouth. Manny, you remember those fucking breath things that you can squirt back in the day in your mouth? You fucking think you're slick and spraying breath spray in your mouth. You're walking down the street.
Banaka.
Yeah, that's it. Banaka. Thank you. We're also brought to you by Monster Headphones, the best headphones in the business. Go over to monsterstore.com and pick yourself up a pair of Monster headphones. That's The Final Shot.